everybody, and welcome to Round the Horn. Tonight's special guest is Mr. Gene Potts, lead singer of the band Colossal Street Jam. Hello, Gene. How are you?
Hey, Lee. How you doing, buddy?
We're doing good, as well as we can expect, as we usually say when we start these things, because we'd rather actually be face to face as opposed to computer to computer.
Yes, I miss those days for sure.
We'll get there sometime soon, I'm sure of that. Well, it's Gene from Colossal Street Jam. First of all, we want to talk to you about the band itself and what you've got plans for. And if you are playing out, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Colossal Street Jam has been around for a long time. Started out in the Stone Pony, and you probably remember way back in the day. Probably.
Absolutely.
And in about 95, we decided to call it a day. And then about 6 years ago, we decided to bring the music back, get together, do a reunion, and it took off from there. So me, the guitar player, Sal Mara, and the bass player, Tony Flora, added Eric Safko on keyboards and Dave Halpern on drums. And things just kind of took off from there. Released a couple albums. We're about to release a new one, just released a new single, which you have, No Way to Live, which is doing really well for us. And the new album will be out April 2nd, which will be also titled No Way to Live. And we've been playing a little bit, doing some shows, Red Bank, Asbury, Bar A and Belmar, just trying to stay busy and active and get this new music to where it's supposed to be, so we can get out to everybody and do some really good shows once everything opens up. And
right. Hopefully that'll be pretty soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. So when did you first get started in music?
I was 13 years old in high school. I was, a baseball player, football player, played basketball as well. Mostly baseball and football. And just sitting at a lunchroom table with a bunch of friends of mine, and they were big Kiss fans, and they had a band. And I just started singing along with them because, I loved Kiss and Aerosmith and a lot of soul music too. I was into the Jackson 5 and stuff like that. But these guys were really big Kiss fans. So I knew the words, playing around a lunchroom table when I was 13, and I went and jammed with them, and that was it. I fell in love with it. I studied with Rosemary Conti for 4 or 5 years. And that's where it came from. Just took off from there.
Great teacher, that's for sure.
The best. I love her. She's
good friends. Good friends.
I give her most of the credit. My father's genes, no pun intended, and and Rosemary's training, and that's how I started.
That's great. Okay, so now let's get back to baseball.
Okay.
How did you first start?
Little league. 5 years old, 6 years old.
Okay, sure, right.
I was a catcher at first. Loved it. My daughter's a catcher now. She's a softball catcher. She's a high school catcher. So, that's pretty exciting. Then I moved to the outfield. I had the arm, I had the speed. So I played the outfield, and I stayed in the outfield pretty much through little league and through high school. And I didn't play in college. I didn't go to college right out of high school because, I was chasing that dream of being a rock star.
Right.
Cut my hair my senior year. Wasn't going to start because I wouldn't cut my hair. I had grown it down past my shoulders. So yeah, the coach wasn't too happy about it. And I just didn't, it ended there my senior year, unfortunately. As much as I love the sport, it just, it didn't work out for me. And music became, my main objective.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So I see you got a Phillies hat. So how far do you go back with the Phillies?
I go back as from the day I was born.
Oh, really? Okay. Great.
Inbred it in me. My grandfather was a diehard Phillies fan, diehard Eagles fan. We all are. I was born in Philly. So my family, my mom, my dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody from Philly. We're all just diehard Philly fans and Eagles fans. And I started going to the games, I'd probably say, my earliest memory, I think, before I was 10 years old, going to the vet and, seeing Mike Schmidt and Greg Lazinski and all those guys. And I even have a signed ball from Greg Lazinski that it's packed away somewhere, which I have to break out. But, signed autograph from Mike Schmidt and I have a lot of that stuff packed away, but yeah, some of my greatest memories growing up was watching sports with my grandfather. He was a
Right.
huge Phillies fan, and I get the baseball side of me from my mom and my grandfather, and the football side of me is my dad. My dad is
Yeah, great.
big. We go to Eagles games every year, as many as we can. And same thing with the Phillies. And my mom, she became a Yankees fan
Okay.
30 years, 30
Against your
years.
religion?
Yeah, it was at first. And, she's, I've forgiven her so far. But my mom met my stepfather 30 years ago, and he was a diehard Yankees fan. And living in North Jersey, it was hard for her to watch the Phillies. So just through the years, 30 years, she just got caught up in the Yankees, and she still watches Yankees to this day. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, but it was that was a big part of his life, and it's a big part of my mother's life, baseball for sure. And,
Sure, absolutely.
so we have our little rivalry now when they play each other.
But you have to have one team in each league, so it doesn't matter.
You know what? That's not. It's my Philadelphia teams. That's it. I just I ride with them, and I love the sport. I will watch any baseball game. I'll watch college baseball. I'll watch college softball. I love the sport. But when it comes to, the dedication, it's always my Philadelphia teams.
Sure, sure. Well, you've got some Yankee connection there too, with Joe Girardi at the helm.
Right. Sure. He's gonna do good stuff for us. Last year, I was a little disappointed. I thought the team had, in the beginning, had the right lineup, and just that bullpen was just terrible.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keep a lead. They could not keep a lead. It was terrible. It was hard to watch. And it was, sometimes I'd catch a game.
Yeah.
I get in from work, and it'd be maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'd start watching the game, and they'd be up 3-0, and then you go run to the bathroom, or you run to get something to eat, and all of a sudden they're down by 6. Yeah, that was just very frustrating the whole season. But happy they re-signed JT, which is huge. Getting Moto back is big for keeping the base of the team with Bryce Harper and him and the rookie. What's his name? I forget his last name, but the rookie that they had at third base. Just they have the makings of a good team. I just really hope that they can get that bullpen figured out.
Yeah, it's amazing that how things change very quickly in baseball, especially when you're living with a bullpen that can't throw strikes and they lose leads. And that's the frustrating part, because you feel like, hey, give me the ball. I'll try. I could do better than they're doing.
Yeah, your reliever's giving up 2-run home runs in the ninth. It's you can't win games like that.
Sure. And I'm sure Girardi is pulling out what little hair he has left.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're making some moves, so hopefully they'll get that bullpen figured.
Yeah, we got a new GM, which is who's very aggressive, and
yes,
he gets the job done. That's one of the things, and he's made some great teams in the past. I mean, he was the one that put together the Boston team that won the World Series, and
right.
He's a good guy. Plus, he's Polish, so I'm kind of
nice.
But I got to meet Girardi when he was with the Yankees, and there's no better manager right now. It's just that he needs the horses, and if you don't have that, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I definitely trust in him, and I really just hope they get the right squad out there.
So you're a big Eagles fan too, right?
I'm sorry?
You're a big Eagles fan.
Oh, yeah, diehard Eagles fan.
Tell you a story. You remember the name Chuck Bednarik, right?
Oh, sure, of course.
Well, his brother was actually my health teacher in 8th grade.
Wow.
John Bednarik, and he actually played for the Eagles for a little bit, and he was our football coach at Neptune High School too. But it was funny that having him, I knew the name, of course. You wonder if there's any relation, and of course, first day he actually started talking to us like he was a football coach, because he says, when I tell you to jump, you ask how high. Well, here we are in health class.
That's funny.
But it was typical. And when I was in 8th grade, we actually had our intermediate school was the old high school, and there were, how they're padding against gym walls and everything.
Yeah.
When you run into the basket, you don't kill yourself. Well, one of the names that was on the padding by the doorway was a name that you might recognize, Nate Ramsey, who was a defensive back for the Eagles way back when, and he was pride of Neptune High School for a long, long time.
Right.
So, but
Yeah,
now,
I don't recognize that name, but
yeah, you look him up and you'll see that he was one of the in the I guess the 60s, and yeah, it was a really well-known name. But anyway, going back to baseball,
Sure.
I guess your mom didn't have much of an influence, in liking the Yankees. Just you stayed with
No, that'll never happen. It's so funny. I had a conversation with my daughter the other day because my son, who was a great baseball player before he got hurt, but my son was wearing a Steelers jacket
Okay,
at his girlfriend's house,
right.
and because they went out in the snow and he didn't bring a jacket. So I saw the picture and I said, all your stuff is in the yard. Don't come home. And I'm serious. That's how serious I am about it. It's like, don't come home. If I ever see you wear something like that again, you're not living here anymore.
Yeah, I tell you, I played a game at the old vet, and as it was an all-star game, and I got to actually. I mean, I always saw pictures of Pete Rose after he caught the third out. He would bounce the ball off the turf, and it would
Right.
go like about 20 feet in the air. So I kind of wondered, what's with this turf that you feel that way. But when you started, I did some sprints in the outfield, and I said, this feels like I'm walking on the moon, because every step you took was a huge bounce.
Yeah.
So I could understand. But the thing that was really kind of crazy was I went to center field, and there's a whole bunch of black stains in center field
Mm-hmm.
from where Nails was chewing tobacco. So he could always tell where he had to play because of the tobacco stains.
that field was something.
Unbelievable. They tell me that during the summertime, the field temperature itself was over 120 degrees.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they said sometimes the guys would put aluminum foil inside their shoes, hopefully reflecting the heat back downwards, because it was so hot that the shoes almost started melting. That's how hot the turf was.
Yeah, I've been on field level there before. We had season tickets. Well, I had season tickets for the Eagles when I was from the time I was 18 until I think I was like 25, 26 at the vet. And I traded my seats in one time. It was for an Eagles game. And we had the first row right on the corner of the end zone where the seats kind of went down to the field, and you can just walk right over the
Sure. Yep.
to just be on the field. So I've stood on that field before, and I've been on that field and towards the bottom on games when it was a September where it was down there. Yeah, that field. I missed that field, but that field was a mess.
Yes. I remember scouting a game one time, and it was June, and you could feel the heat coming off the field, just being in the stands, watching guys that were part of a tryout. But anyway, Gene, we're running out of time. It's really great to catch up with you. And unfortunately, we'd love to do this face to face, but it's the second best thing to do. And we're glad to be able to be in touch.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that we're talking and I can see your face. And it's been a while since we've been able to do a show and see each other, but I hope we'll be able to do it soon. And I'll talk baseball, football, whatever you want. I love talking music, but when it comes to baseball and football, I could talk all day. And I love your Cooperstown hat, by the way.
Oh yeah, actually, I played on that field in a game one time, and it was an amazing feel. You almost feel there's ghosts in the outfield when you're there. And one of our guys actually, and I don't know if they position the field differently now than it was back when I played, but one of our guys hit a a home run that hit somebody's house actually in the left field. It was amazing that the field was right there, and it was kind of a short porch anyway. But
Yeah.
I can imagine the people in those houses back there would have to
My son,
boom.
yeah, my son did
Another one.
I'm sorry. My son did the Dreams Park when he was 13, hit 3 home
Oh,
runs.
wow. That's
To hit 3 home runs the first day. I got every ball. Every home run he hit that week, I have.
yeah, it's
So,
a great experience. It's a cute
yeah, it
little
really
town.
was. And he got to see the Hall of Fame with me, which was great. And he was at the 2008 when the Phillies won the World Series. We were at every home game for that.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Gene. I appreciate your time, and hopefully
Thank you,
we'll
buddy.
talk soon. Take care.
Yeah, take care. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.